Columbus State takes care of business in game number 1. They down Clark Atlanta 8-0 in the home opener of the 2015 season, and now they try to make it a clean doubleheader sweep as they get set to take on Clark Atlanta in game number 2 of our doubleheader here on Cougar Sports TV. Hello everyone, welcome back to Cougar Field as we get set for Lady Cougar softball here in Columbus, Georgia. Stephen Williams with you as we get set for Clark Atlanta and Columbus State Part 2. After the Lady Cougars now 3-2 on the season, win game 1 8-0, and it's now an 0-6 Clark Atlanta team coming into this second game. Lady Cougars defensively will completely change for game number 2. Very few of them in the same spot. You look around the outfield left to right. Alora Thompson getting the start in left. Kia Smith starts again in center. Mackenzie Fagioli moves from third out to right field. Around the infield, Taylor Turner, after her one-hit shutout in the circle, moves over to third base. Keely Waugh gets the start at shortstop. Katie White starting again at second base. Taylor Woods will start game number 2 over at first. Leanne Rees will start behind the plate. And Lindsay DeFee moves to the circle for game number 2 for the Lady Cougars. LaWanda Pearson leading her Clark Atlanta Panthers here into this one with a different lineup look as well. Brianna Aldridge will lead things off. She had the only hit of game number 1. Desaya Wofford will hit second. Verone Woods will do the pitching and hit third. Zandria Usher will hit fourth. Jessica Visson will hit fifth. Sharnitra Woods will hit in the 6th spot. Shatoya Miller will hit 7th. Virginia Choice, the designated player, will bat 8th. Asia Nelson will round out the order, and Ashley Nelson will be the one that's being hit for. Perfect day here at Cougar Field for early February. Aldridge digs into the left side. DeFee ready, and we're underway here in game number 2. Aldridge bunts through the first one. She was the only one to reach base against Taylor Turner in game number 1. A ground ball to third that she beat out over to the first base bag. It was the lone base runner and the lone hit against the senior right-hander. Now Lindsay DeFee, another senior, into the circle for the second game as this one's bunted foul. DeFee was 8-5 a year ago in 96 innings, had a 2.76 ERA. That was actually the team low last season out of the 4 pitchers that CSU had, the same 4 they have this year. She's 0-1 on the season now, 3 2/3 innings for her, 2 earned runs against her, as she strikes out Aldridge to start off game number 2. So it was 13 strikeouts in 15 outs recorded for the Lady Cougars in game 1, and they're 1 for 1 here in game number 2. Desaya Wofford, the left fielder, will stand in now, also on that left side. We didn't see Wofford. Didn't see Wofford in the opening game we played. Sophomore out of New York City. Actually, they're going to go back and put Aldridge back at the plate, so CSU thought they had the strikeout. Umpire bringing Aldridge back up there. Now Aldridge down on strikes, so cost DeFee 2 more pitches, but now Aldridge retired on strikes for officially the first strikeout. So now Wofford will dig in, actually on the right side, the left fielder for the Panthers. DeFee gets the strikeout to start game number 2. First pitch hits the corner and in there for strike 1. DeFee pitched in a couple of games at the Georgia College Bobcat Classic on the opening weekend. Went 2 innings, allowed just 1 run on 1 hit as she tosses another strike in there against number 2 Valdosta State in the season opener, but CSU was shut out in that one, 11-0, so DeFee was hit with the loss. She did walk 5 in that one. She went an inning and 2/3 as she has her second strikeout. An inning and 2/3 in the 10-5 win over Queens, the first of the doubleheader. Gave up 2 runs, only one of them was earned though. but she walked 4 more, so she's walked 9 hitters in 4 innings of work this season. So that's the number they've got to get to go in the other direction. Wofford down on strikes. There's 2 outs in the first inning, and Verone Woods, the starting pitcher here in game number 2 for the Panthers, digs in. Woods, the freshman from Compton, California. Pitch misses the zone from DeFee. 2 balls and no strikes. DeFee, the senior right-hander out of Eufaula, Alabama. Transferred here from Wallace State Community College. Prior to last season, had a good first year in a Lady Cougar uniform, and now wrapping up her collegiate career here in 2015. That one fouled off the thumbs over towards third. It's 2 balls and a strike. So only 2 players starting in the second game in the same spot they started in game number 1. White, the second baseman, and Smith, the center fielder, as Brad Huskisson reaching into his bench and changing the alignment up. That one down the line is foul. Spinning ball hit off the end of the bat down that line, just over the head of the first base umpire and the home plate umpire calling it foul. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. The 2-2. Just off the outside corner, and the count will go full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Played a swift game number 1, about an hour and 15 minutes. Getting this one started a little sooner than they were expecting. Planned game time was around 4:30, and we're already underway. Nearing the end of the top of the first at 4:07. Local time here in Columbus. The full count offering swing and a miss, and just as Taylor Turner did in game number 1, Lindsay DeFee gets them 1, 2, 3 on strikes. In the top of the first, Lady Cougars coming to bat, looking to set the tone again here in game number 2. Lindsay DeFee mows right through the top 3 in the Clark Atlanta order, and now the Lady Cougars will come to bat in their half of the first. Kia Smith, Alora Thompson, Mackenzie Fagioli, the 1, 2, and 3 inside the CSU order. Taylor Turner, Lindsay DeFee, Taylor Woods, 4, 5, and 6. Keely Wall, Leanne Rees, and Katie White, 7, 8, and 9, as all 9 Lady Cougars will hit for themselves. Kia Smith shows bunt to start off the CSU first and takes one low and away from the right-hander, Verone Woods, the freshman who just struck out to end the top of the first. Corners halfway to the plate with Smith up there. She continues to show bunt, pulls it back, and takes it to even the count up, 1 ball and 1 strike. Smith led off the game with a base hit in game number 1, stole a base and came around to score. She grounded out to second, the only other 2 times she came to the plate, so a 1-for-3 day for her in that one. Down in the count here, a ball and 2 strikes. Speed to burn here at the top with Smith and Thompson in the 1 and 2 spots. Low and away, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Smith and Thompson, a pair of left-handed hitters, both slapping style hitters that can burn it up on the base paths. 2 and 2 to the leadoff hitter, Kia Smith. Bottom of the first inning. Smith drives this one into the gap in left center field. It's time to watch her run. Around first, she's headed for second. They'll put the brakes on her there as she'll cruise into second with a stand-up double. So Smith, not just a slapper, able to drive that one in the gap in left center field. And Smith has the leadoff double. Alora Thompson, the hitter now, the left fielder. Junior out of Inglis, Florida, transferred here from the College of Central Florida. Lays down the bunt, but it's foul behind the plate, and she'll head back to the batter's box. A lot of options here for Brad Huskisson to work with. Speed at the plate, speed at second. Saw Thompson put the bunt down or try on the previous pitch. CSU had this same situation in game 1, got a bunt single out of it. Thompson does lay the bunt down. The first baseman Woods fields the throw to first, covering up is Aldridge, and she's able to hold on to the bag. But the sacrifice bunt moves the runner up 60 feet, and Smith standing at third now with only 1 out. Mackenzie Fagioli will bat now with the runner at third and 1 down. Corners weigh in once again for Clark Atlanta. Woods and Usher halfway to the plate as Fagioli takes it in there for a strike. Fagioli backing up a spot in the order from 2 to 3. As she lays down the bunt, Smith coming to the plate. Fagioli is going to be safe at first. There's no play, and CSU goes small ball in inning number 1 and steals a run here from Clark Atlanta in the first. Fagioli also heads up on her feet there on the base paths, is able to take second base as nobody paying attention. It's the second time in as many games Fagioli has laid down a bunt, beat it out, and then caught them napping with nobody out at second. So she's been able to steal a free base in both situations. Fagioli gets the RBI on the bunt single. CSU once again strikes first in the bottom of the first inning, and now Taylor Turner will bat with a runner in scoring position and 1 away. Taylor Turner doubled off the wall in left center field to drive home 2 in the first inning of last game as she takes a strike. doubled to the wall in right center field later in the game, so a couple of doubles for her to pair together with her 13 strikeout, 1-hit shutout in the circle. So Fagioli on at second. The 0-1 to Turner. Right back through the middle, speared by the pitcher Woods. Looked to third for a second. Instead decides to go for the sure out at first. Fagioli will move up to third, and Turner is out number 2. Fagioli to third. Lindsay DeFee trying to help her own cause. 2 down in a 1-0 game. DeFee stares at the first one, misses the plate. Taken for ball 1. Corner still well in front of the bag on both sides, even with 2 outs. DeFee down the right field line. Will it stay fair? No. Foul by a couple of feet down that right field line. Everyone will head back where they started. Lindsay was a perfect 2 for 2 in the opener. Couple of singles, also a sacrifice fly for her. Came into the day already at 4 for 8, so batting average up to .600. The 1-1. Sails outside, misses the mark. 2 balls and a strike. Woods to the plate, the 2-1. Fouled up and out of play, off to the right, and the count pushes even. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2 away here in the bottom of the first inning. CSU with a squeeze bunt puts its first run of the game on the board. They hold a 1-run advantage. The 2-2. DeFee down the line, fair ball. 1 run in, DeFee rumbling around first. She's headed for second. The ball gets hung up in the corner for a moment, but it's a stand-up RBI double for Lindsay DeFee, who just kept it fair down that line.
With 2 outs and a runner on second, coming up to bat, the first baseman, number 7, Taylor Woods.
So RBI double for DeFee is her 3rd hit of the day. 2-0 CSU. They still have some work to do to get to the 5 they put up in the first inning of game number 1. Taylor Woods, the hitter now, the sophomore out of Millers Creek, North Carolina. First pitch to her is in there for a strike. Woods transferred here from Division I Presbyterian College over in North Carolina. Seeing her first action here at Cougar Field. Right back to the circle again. Woods to Woods. 1-3 goes the punt out. The Lady Cougars leave a runner in scoring position, but not before. They get 2 runs on 3 hits in the bottom of the first inning. Lady Cougars up 2-0 on Clark Atlanta after 1 here at Cougar Field. So CSU puts multiple runs on the board in the bottom of the first inning for the second straight game. And now Lindsay DeFee goes back to work. Zandria Usher, the third baseman, starts off the top of the second. As the first one is too far inside, and that caught a piece of Usher as it went on by. And that'll put a Clark Atlanta base runner on with nobody out to start the second inning. So it took nearly 5 innings for Clark Atlanta to get a base runner in game number 1. It doesn't take them near that long here in the second. So DeFee will go to work now with a runner on, nobody out. And Jessica Vasson to the plate. Vasson 0 for 2 in the first game as she rolls this one to first. Woods will step on the bag herself, and she'll take the one out. The runner, Usher, moves up to second, and there's one away.
With one out and a runner on second, coming up to bat, the first baseman, number 18, Sharnitra Woods.
Sharnitra Woods did the catching in game number 1, now over at the first base bag. She'll bat with a runner in scoring position. First time a Panther has reached second here today. First pitch sails high and wide of the mark, taken for ball 1. Woods hacking away, fouls it over to the third base on deck circle. 1 ball and 1 strike. Just 1 hit so far for Clark Atlanta now in 6 offensive innings. An infield single in the top of the 5th inning of game 1. Showing bunt, pulled it back. Taken for a ball, 2-1. Woods, a strikeout victim in the 2nd inning against Taylor Turner of game 1, and then trying to lay down a bunt for a hit in the 5th, and was thrown out trying to do so. The 2-1. Outside corner, 2 balls and 2 strikes. The 2-2 to Woods. Chased one way out of the zone over in the left-hand batter's box. She's down on strikes. Strikeout number 4 for DeFee, and there's 2 away.
With 2 outs and a runner on second, now batting the shortstop, number 7, Shatoya Miller.
That'll bring up Shatoya Miller to try to bring across the first Clark Atlanta run of the day. Miller, sophomore out of Compton, California. Transferred to Clark Atlanta from Antelope Valley College out west. Zandria Usher hit by a pitch to lead off the inning. Standing out at second as Miller swings through the pitch. No balls and 2 strikes. The 0-2, back to the circle. DeFee deflects it, picks it up herself, flips to Woods, and that will retire the Panthers here in the top of the second. So they get a base runner, leave her on second base, though, and another 0 put up on the board by the Lady Cougar pitching staff. That's 7 straight for CSU. Lady Cougars back to the plate with a 2-0 lead here over Clark Atlanta. 7, 8, and 9 due up for the Lady Cougars in the bottom of the second inning. Keely Waugh will start things off, getting the start at shortstop here in game number 2. Waugh came on to pinch hit in the bottom of the 5th inning of game 1, promptly doubled to the wall in center field, drove home what turned out to be the decisive run in an 8-0 run rule, ending the game right then. Pitch finds the zone. It's a ball and a strike now to the freshman. Waugh, then Leanne Rees and Katie White here in this inning. Right back through the middle, and Keely Waugh has her second hit of the day. So good start here to the second inning. Another leadoff base runner for the Lady Cougars as Waugh reaches, and now Leanne Rees will bat.
Number 4, Leanne Rees.
Leanne Rees, the 5'6" freshman catcher out of Evans, Georgia, just outside of Augusta. This one on the ground and through into right field. Waugh running on the pitch, and the ball gets all the way through the right fielder. Chance for everybody to run. Waugh's going to come all the way around to score, and they're going to stop Rees over at third. It'll be a single and a two-base error. No RBI for Leanne Rees, but it doesn't matter. It puts the Lady Cougars back on the board. It's now 3-0. First error we've had in the doubleheader, and it costs Clark Atlanta a run.
Second baseman, number 5, Katie White.
It's a single for Rees, though. The run comes in to score. 3-0, and Katie White, the hitter now. White takes one over the outside corner for strike one. So that error goes against Asia Nelson, the right fielder. White trying to lay down a second squeeze bunt of this game for CSU in the first 2 innings, but fouled it off at the plate, and it goes to 0-2. So 3 runs on 5 hits already for the Lady Cougars, and they're just now getting one time through the order. Another runner standing over at third. White takes that one upstairs. It's a ball and 2 strikes. White 1 for 2 in the first game. Lined out in the first inning, then singled, stole a base, and scored in the 4th. The 1-2 down low. White started to offer, able to keep the hands back. Two and two the count now. Choking up on the bat is White at the plate. Again going away is Woods, and it misses out of the zone. The count runs full. White battles back. The 3-2. Inside. Good at bat by the Lady Cougars second baseman. Down in the count 0-2. Worked it all the way back. Drew the walk. And they're on the corners with still nobody out. Now put him at second and third as White steals a base with Clark Atlanta just letting her run all the way down to second. It's now 3 times that CSU has been able to steal second base in a live ball situation. Catcher Vasson out to speak with the right-hander Woods in the circle as CSU goes back to the top of its order. Kia Smith, after slapping a couple of times, stung one to the wall in left center field to lead off the CSU first. Ultimately came around to score on Fagioli's squeeze bunt. She'll lay down the bunt. The runner coming to the plate. The play was made, but not in time to get Rees, who slid in ahead of the throw. Smith's going to wind up all the way down at second. CSU tacks another one on. It's 4-0. So second and third, still nobody out. Same situation it was just at, but now it's 4-0 CSU. First pitch to Alora Thompson. Taken out of the zone for a ball. Lady Cougars trying to blow the game open early again as they did in game one. They scored 5 in the bottom of the first of game number 1. They have 4 here and threatening to add a few more. Thompson at the plate, laid a sacrifice bunt down her last time. She'll lay the bunt down here. It's to third, and Thompson's going to beat it out. The runners won't advance, but the bases will be loaded now. It's still nobody out.
With the bases loaded, now batting the right fielder, number 10, Mackenzie Fagioli.
So Mackenzie Fagioli will bat with the bags packed. Nobody out here in the bottom of the second inning. Fagioli slugs this one to left, and that one's over the head of the left fielder, Wofford into the wall. 1 run in. Here comes a second, and they'll throw the brakes on Thompson at third. 2 runs in. It's a 2-run double for Fagioli, and it is 6-0 CSU. So a pair of hits and 3 driven in now for Fagioli in the game. Thompson winds up over at third. Smith and White score, and CSU still doesn't have an out here in this second inning. 6 batters to the plate. 6 have reached, 4 have scored, and Taylor Turner now lost one into right center field shallow. And it's dropped again out in right field. Another error coming up on the Panthers in the inning as Turner's going to reach. That's the second on Nelson here in this inning. Make it 7-0 now.
With runners on corners, now batting the pitcher, number 12, Lindsay Diffie.
So this one's starting to get away from Clark Atlanta here early. 7-0 CSU, nobody out. Runners on the corners for Lindsay Diffie. Diffie takes one away from the plate for ball 1. Diffie, the 8th hitter here in this inning so far, and still nobody out. 7 runs on 7 hits for CSU. 2 Clark Atlanta errors, both here in this second inning. Diffie found that one right off her front leg in the batter's box, so she'll stay put. Woods in the circle, readies the 1-1. Diffie smokes this one into straightaway center field, but playing deep was Nelson. She'll make the grab. That'll allow Fagioli to tag up and score. Second sacrifice fly of the day for Lindsay Diffie, who is now 3 for 3 with 2 sacrifice flies and 5 trips.
With 1 out and a runner on first, now batting the first baseman, number 7, Taylor Woods.
8-0, CSU already has matched its run total from game number 1. And now Taylor Woods will hit with 1 down and Taylor Turner on at first. Woods grounded back to the circle. Her only at bat of the day so far. That was the final out of inning number 1. So CSU is now batted around here in the second. Outside again. 2 balls and no strikes. Taylor Woods takes the pitch in there now. A ball and 2 strikes. 6 runs already in this inning for CSU. Woods hammers this one to straightaway center field. Looking up, that ball's gone. First home run of the day for Columbus State in the doubleheader, And it's the first of the career in the Lady Cougar uniform for Taylor Woods. Straightaway center field, Taylor Woods, the 2-run home run makes this a 10-0 game. So the hits and the runs just keep pouring across for CSU. Now the Lady Cougars will go to work the second time through the order here in this inning. That'll give Keely Waugh a chance to hit now. Waugh led off the inning. Singled right back through the middle. Before Waugh will get to bat, though, it looks like Clark Atlanta is going to change out its pitchers. So 10 runs through the first 4 outs for the Lady Cougars in Clark Atlanta, making a change in the circle. Lady Cougars up 10-0 here on Cougar Sports TV. So Clark Atlanta making a change in the circle the first time there's been a substitution made of that variety today. In either game, they'll go with Shalonda Woods. She'll come on and pitch, the freshman from Compton, California. Keely Waugh, the one who stands in to face her for the first time. Woods replacing Woods here for Clark Atlanta. That pitch in there for a strike. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Base is clear after the Taylor Woods home run as Keely Waugh rolls one to short. Picked up by Miller. The throw pulls the first baseman Woods off the bag, and Waugh's going to reach a 3rd error in the inning against Clark Atlanta. Can't get themselves off the field here at the moment. That'll bring up Leanne Rees, the Lady Cougar catcher. Rees singled to right earlier in this inning, her first at bat of the day. Eventually came around to score as she takes the first one out of the zone for ball 1. That one misses the strike zone as well. 2 balls and no strikes. Waugh at first, only 1 out in the inning, already 8 runs across. And this one's away again, 3 balls and no strikes. CSU had the big 5-run inning in the first of game 1. This one outdoing it and then some. 8 already in, still just 1 away. That one's inside, so 4 straight missed the zone. Reeves will trot on down to first with the walk. Waugh to second, and now Katie White to the plate.
With 1 out and runners on first and second, coming up to bat, the second baseman, number 5, Katie White.
Katie White walked earlier in the inning, eventually came around to score. The only out in the inning is a sacrifice fly hit by Lindsey DeFee. First pitch from Woods is in there for a strike to White. There's down the count 0-1. 18 runs on the day already for CSU on 21 hits. White smokes one to short. It's mishandled there. They'll try to go to third for the force, and it's not in time. Waugh hustling over to the third base bag, and there's another mishap in the field from the Panthers, and it loads the bases up for the top of the order.
Now batting the center fielder, number 6, Kia Smith.
So back-to-back errors on the shortstop, Miller. Bases are loaded. Now Kia Smith will bat for the third time in the first 2 innings. First pitch off speed, bounces in the dirt. It's a ball and no strikes. White at first, Rees at second, Waugh at third. Kia Smith, the one in the batter's box. 1-0 pitch on the inside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike. Lady Cougars back home Friday night, the start of the CSU Cougar Classic. To be played 1 day here and 2 days on the weekend down at South Commons in downtown Columbus. Low and away, 2 balls and a strike. 8 teams in town this weekend, 4 from the Peach Belt Conference. Young Harris, Montevallo, and Georgia College in town along with CSU, and then 4 from outside of the PBC. Pitches away, it's 3-1. Lincoln Memorial, Tusculum, both of them coming down here from Tennessee. Belmont Abbey coming over from North Carolina, and then Florida Tech making the trip up. The 3-1 to Smith. Trying the left center field gap again. Moving over, and again it's dropped in the gap in left center field. 1 run in. Here comes a second. The throw is going to be cut off, and White will dive back into third. But 2 more runs come across to score. 10 in the inning, and it's 12-0. So 2 more in. Now 5 errors in this inning on Clark Atlanta, who played a clean defensive game in game number 1. Alora Thompson up now as she fouls one off at the plate. She's down the count 0-1. So we started this inning at 2-0. It was a tight ball game. Tight no longer. Thompson calls time at the plate with Woods taking too long. CSU offense breaking out in big fashion. Thompson slaps another one foul. This one winds up on a hop in the mitt of Vassan behind the plate. 0-2. It's the 14th hitter of the inning for CSU, and still just 1 out. Pitch outside. Clark Atlanta's already given CSU 6 outs to play with in this inning. And they still have to get 2 more. 12-0, 12 runs on 8 hits. Pitch is up high, it's 2-2. Since the home run from Woods, 4 straight hitters have reached without a hit. A walk and 3 errors. The 2-2. Lined and snagged over at third. Nice play by Usher, who couldn't have been more than about 40 feet from home plate. It found her glove, though, and Thompson is the second out. Now we'll get a pinch hitter in the number 3 spot in the order.
Sydney Barker.
Sydney Barker will be the one that pinch hits. Mackenzie Fagioli getting hit for here in the second inning. Fagioli was already 2 for 2 with a single, a double, 3 runs driven in, and 2 runs scored. So Barker, the lefty, will bat. Freshman out of Warner Robins, Georgia, from the Westfield School. She's up there now with Kia Smith out at second, Katie White on at third. 2 away here in the bottom of the second inning. First pitch to Barker is in there for a strike. Barker, no official at bat so far this season until now. This one's going to be trouble in the middle of the infield. Good play made by Aldridge, the second baseman, and mercifully for Clark Atlanta, the inning will come to a close. CSU sends 15 to the plate in the second. They get 10 runs thanks to 5 Clark Atlanta errors, and after 2, it's 12-0 CSU here on Cougar Sports TV. Explosive second inning for the Lady Cougar offense. They get 10 runs on the board. Doesn't look impressive when you look at the line score out there on the scoreboard because it's not designed to handle more than 1 digit of runs in the inning column. So it says a 0 in the second inning, but instead they put 10 on the board in the second. Virginia Choice, the designated player, will bat to lead off the third. Defensive changes for the Lady Cougars. Barker, who just pinch hit for Fagioli, will now slide in and play right field. Jessica Seegers in to play third base in place of Taylor Turner in the number 4 spot in the order. So couple of changes for Brad Huskisson as he tries to get everybody in today. Line drive to first. Taylor Woods spears it out of the air, and there's out number 1. So Choice down on the line out. Asia Nelson, the right fielder, will stand in. Lindsay DeFee working still in the circle for CSU. Only base runner against her so far through 8 hitters.
Pinch hitting for Clark Atlanta, number 17, Ingrid Sims.
And instead of Nelson at the plate, we'll get Ingrid Sims, the junior from Memphis, Tennessee. Will bat in the number 9 spot in the order now in place of Nelson. Sims, a transfer from Rust College. No balls and a strike here to Sims, seeing her first run of things. Takes that one inside. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. CSU Cougar Classic this weekend. Mentioned all the teams that will be in town. Friday's games will be played here at Cougar Field, 3:30 on Friday. Young Harris and Florida Tech will play on this field, and then CSU will be in the nightcap. 6 o'clock start time for the Lady Cougars, as CSU will take on Belmont Abbey. Be the first of 3 meetings between the Lady Cougars and the Crusaders this season. Be the first of 2 that they have this coming weekend. 2-1 the count here for Sims. This one lined foul of first. 2 balls and 2 strikes. So CSU and Belmont Abbey on this field at 6 o'clock. And then Saturday and Sunday, we shift locations. We'll be down at the South Commons Sports Complex in downtown Columbus. 4 games going on at a time down there on 2 different time slots as DeFee misses the zone and the count runs full. CSU will be playing in the big stadium field down there at South Commons, and on Saturday they'll take on Florida Tech at noon and then back it up with a game against Tusculum at 2:30. Sunday they'll play Lincoln Memorial at 11:30 a.m., and then they'll see Belmont Abbey for the second time at 2 o'clock. Swing and a miss by Sims. DeFee stretched the zone again, and Sims went after it. Strikeout number 5 now for the right-hander, and there's 2 away.
With 2 outs, now batting second baseman, number 3, Brianna Aldridge.
So we go back to the top of the Panther order. Brianna Aldridge, the second baseman, digs in. Struck out to lead off the ball game back in the first. Shows bunt, pulls back, and takes a strike. CSU played in the Georgia College tournament. They have their own tournament here. They'll head off to Salisbury, North Carolina for the Catawba tournament later in the month, and then they'll head to their Mid-South Classic they go to every year in Spartanburg, South Carolina, the last weekend in February and on into March. They'll also come back and have one more tournament here on their home field. It'll be a good one. The first full weekend in March. Palm Beach Atlantic, Armstrong, and Wingate will be in town for what should be really good softball. Aldridge down on strikes, make it 6 for DeFee, and she rolls right through the order. 1, 2, 3 in the top half of the third. We move to the bottom of the third inning. CSU rolling here in their home opening doubleheader. 12-0 Lady Cougars. To the bottom of the third we go. 12-0 CSU on its way to a doubleheader sweep. Clark Atlanta getting set to make some changes before the Lady Cougars come to bat. One of the Panther assistants out there to make a change. Jessica Seegers will lead things off in the bottom of the third, and she takes the first one low and inside. Seegers 1 for 1. A base hit in her only at bat so far this season. She also has a run scored. Batting in the spot of Taylor Turner in the cleanup spot in the Lady Cougar order.
Now playing left field for Clark Atlanta, number 15,
Jolene Nazary will slot in left field now, a sophomore out of Queens, New York. She's in place of Desaya Wofford out in left field for the Panthers. That was the change that Clark Atlanta made. (12-0), Lady Cougars in front. Seegers rolls this one back through the middle, and that's through for a base hit. So she'll stay perfect on the season. 2 for 2 now for the redshirt freshman out of LaGrange.
with a runner on first. Now up the pitcher, number
Make it 9 hits on the day now for CSU. And Lindsay DeFee will try to keep her day perfect. She's 3 for 3 in 2 games with a couple of sacrifice flies also on top of it. She doubled back in the first inning, scoring a run. Then she drove in another with a sacrifice fly in the second. Had a couple of hits in the first game and a sacrifice fly as well. Pitch from Woods. On the ground softly to third. It's fielded by Usher. The throw is in time, and DeFee retired for the first out here in the third.
with 1 out and a runner on second.
So Seegers moves to second, and Taylor Woods will bat now. Taylor Woods launched one over the center field wall her last time up. Only the second home run of the season for CSU in the first 6 games. It was a phrase you would not have uttered in seasons past here about Columbus State softball, but they have turned over a new leaf. This one bounces in the dirt. Seegers is going to move up as the catcher can't figure out where it's at. It's over here on the first base side, and the first baseman Woods will come get it. The wild pitch will allow Seegers to move up to third, and now Woods a chance to drive the runner home. Woods, a 2-run home run her last time up. The only other home run of the season belongs to Leanne Reeves, who's probably one of the least likely candidates on this team. You judge purely by stature alone. 2 balls and a strike here to Woods. Keely Wan in the on-deck circle. Outside corner, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Woods versus Woods, as Taylor Woods rolls this one over to the Lady Cougar dugout and stays alive. 1 out in the inning. Seegers, who led it off with a single, standing over at third. The 2-2. Rolled foul of third again. As Lady Cougar hitters jumping and being aggressive at the softball right now. A little early. Woods slugs this one into center field. Going back, and Woods has done it again. Taylor Woods goes to straightaway center field for the second time in as many innings, and the Lady Cougars tack on 2 more. So Woods, who didn't even start game number 1 for CSU, has made quite the impression here in game number 2. 2 for 3 with a pair of 2-run home runs.
The shortstop, number 2, Keely Roy. Check that. Wow. Had to. I was going to do this. Yeah.
14-0 CSU running away with this one. 14 runs on 10 hits, and now Keely Waugh will bat. First pitch is up high, and it's taken for ball 1. So Taylor Woods, CSU entered the day with just 1 home run in 4 games. She's homered twice in her last 2 at-bats. Again up high, 2 balls and no strikes. This one down and in. 3 balls and no strikes. Three and 0 to Waugh, who already has a base hit and has reached on an error as well. A single, reached on an error, and a couple of runs scored for her. Woods winds, and Waugh fouls it past Brad Huskisson over in the third base coach's box. So the count will stay full. Base is empty, 1 away here in the bottom of the 3rd inning, 14-0. Columbus State on its way to a 4-2 start on the season and a doubleheader sweep in the home opener. Waugh, hard to short, scooped up by Miller. The throw is low, and a good play turns into a base runner for CSU after the missed throw. Make it 6 errors now charged on this Clark Atlanta team, all of them coming in the last 2 innings. Rees hits one in the hole at short, knocked down on the dive by Miller, but she'll have no play. It'll be an infield single for Leanne Rees, who has reached in all 3 trips to the plate. Now CSU will send up a pinch hitter.
Number 27, Sammy Anderson.
Sammy Anderson will get a chance to hit. Anderson will hit in the spot of Katie White in the batting order. That's the number 9 spot. 0 for 2 on the season so far is Anderson. Anderson, the junior out of Catala, product of Harris County High School. Takes the first one in there for a strike. Rees at first, Waugh at second. 2 runs already in on the home run on the part of Taylor Woods. Down low, a ball and a strike. Anderson, a good defensive first baseman. Searching to find it at the plate here for CSU now. Anderson started to go at it and caught a piece of it. So it's a ball and 2 strikes. Two runners on, one away here in a 14-0 game. Top of the order, standing in the on-deck circle. This one bounces in the dirt. Runner at first, caught too far off, but they're not going to make a throw at it. Reese started to advance, but Waugh in front of her did not. So they'll stay put. Two and 2 in the count to Anderson. And this one will be taken high and away, and she'll battle back, run the count full. Shalonda Woods, the one in the circle for Clark Atlanta, came in after Woods hit her first home run back in that 10-run second inning. He's allowed 4 since then. Anderson down on strikes. So Woods gets the strikeout, and there's 2 away. So to the top of the order for the Lady Cougars, Kia Smith, the center fielder.
Two out. Coming up to bat, the center fielder, number 6, Kia Smith.
Smith trying to keep the inning going. She's reached all 3 times up. A double, a fielder's choice, and reached on an error. Two runners on and 2 away, already 2 in the inning, and that pitch is in there for a strike to Smith. This one in the dirt, scooped up by Massam behind the plate. A ball and 2 strikes. Rees and Waugh, the runners. Thompson on deck should the inning continue. On the ground to first. It's going to be a foot race to get there. And Woods is able to win the race with Smith to the bag, and CSU will strand a pair of runners on. They get 2 more runs, though, on a Taylor Woods 2-run home run, her second of the afternoon, and after 3, 14-0. CSU all over Clark Atlanta. "14 runs on 11 hits for CSU through 3 innings. Stephen Williams back here with you on Cougar Sports TV. Jolene Nazary will lead things off for Clark Atlanta. here in the top of the fourth. First at bat she's had today as she shows bunt. Pulls back for a ball against Lindsay DeFee, who's working her fourth inning in the circle. DeFee has not spent much time out there in that circle. CSU has predominantly been at the plate. And this is going to be a perfect bunt by Nazary. Ball dying over there on the third base line. Seegers picks it up, and there's a base hit for Clark Atlanta. So they have a hit in each game now, do the Panthers.
With a runner on first, now up to bat. Number 21,
Shalonda Woods, the pitcher, will bat now. She'll lay it down right there by the plate. Leanne Reeves pops out to knock it dead in foul territory before she has to make a play. No runs, one hit now, 6 errors for Clark Atlanta. 14 runs on 11 hits, and no errors defensively for CSU to this point. Woods getting her first at bat of the game after she subbed in for Veronay Woods, who started the game in the circle. Shalonda came in the second inning as CSU broke through for 10 runs in the inning. Woods trying to bunt it that one. Couldn't make contact. It's a ball and 2 strikes. So 1-2. DeFee already with 6 punch outs on the day. That went off the plate outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Nazary, the runner on at first. This one off the plate inside, and the count goes full. Full count offering upcoming here to Shalonda Woods. Outside corner called, strike 3. So DeFee with a full count, painted the corner, and it's a punch out, her 7th of the game.
with 1 out and runner on first, now batting the third baseman, number 16, Zandria Usher.
Zandria Usher will bat now as they'll pick behind the runner at first. Strong throw by Reeves, but Nazary back in safely. Usher was hit by a pitch, her only plate appearance so far of the game. This one tied her up inside, but hit the corner, a ball and a strike. Usher was the only base runner in the game for Clark Atlanta prior to this inning before Nazary reached on the bunt single. Swung through that one. It's a ball and 2 strikes. 2 runs in the first, 2 runs in the third for CSU. Sandwiched around a 10 spot that the scoreboard can't hold in the second inning. 5 defensive errors for Clark Atlanta in that 10-run second inning. And that's a strikeout again for DeFee, number 8 of the day, as Usher swung through it.
With 2 outs and a runner on first, now batting the catcher, number 12, Jessica Masson.
First pitch to Vasson, taken outside for a ball. She grounded out to the first baseman, Woods. in her only at bat of this game. So DeFee not quite on the torrid pace strikeout-wise that Taylor Turner was in game one, but not far behind it. Taylor Turner struck out the first 9 that she faced in game one on her way to 13 of the 15 outs she picked up. So far, DeFee has 8 strikeouts in the 11 outs that she's picked up. Right back to the circle. DeFee picks up the spinning cue ball right back to her, tosses to first. Vassan retired, and they will strand a runner on base. So they get the first hit of the game, does Clark Atlanta, but they leave her out there. We've played 3.5, 14-0, CSU cruising. Stephen Williams back here with you at Cougar Field. Cougar Sports TV, your home for Columbus State Athletics. Alora Thompson leads things off here in the bottom of the 4th inning, likely the last time the Lady Cougars will step to the plate today. Need just 3 outs in the top of the 5th to close this one out for a doubleheader sweep. 14-0. They lead Clark Atlanta here in game 2 as Thompson loops one towards shallow left. Good play made by Shatoya Miller, the Clark Atlanta shortstop.
One out. Now up the right fielder, number 14, Sydney Barker.
Sydney Barker will bat now with 1 out and the base is empty. Swings through the first one. Barker rolled out to second base in her only at bat of the day so far. Called strike, it's 0-2. Outside, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Barker, the left-handed hitter, right-handed thrower. Outfielder, also does a little pitching. Hits this one on the ground to second. Aldridge to her knees. A nice job there. A couple of nice plays on the infield from Clark Atlanta. Looks a little more familiar to what we saw in game 1 versus the errors they've struggled with here in game number 2.
With 2 outs, now batting the third baseman, number 16, Jessica Seeger.
Jessica Seegers will bat now. She singled, her only at bat of the day, leading off the 3rd inning. Eventually came around to score on the home run by Taylor Woods. Seegers takes that one in the zone. The count evens, a ball and a strike. CSU will need just 1, 2, 3 outs in the top of the 5th inning in order to end this one early for the 2nd straight game. Seegers on the ground to short. Miller, long throw is high, and they don't get the tag down. So the rough defensive day rolls on. I think it's 7 blemishes now for Clark Atlanta, and Lindsay DeFee will bat once more. 4th trip to the plate now for DeFee, who smokes this one right to 3rd. Usher just swallows it up, and a good pick over at first by Woods to get out of the inning. Nice play. 3 of them there in that inning on the infield for Clark Atlanta. We've played 4 now. 14-0. CSU tries to finish it off in the top of the 5th. Lindsay DeFee out to finish what she started, trying to match Taylor Turner's 1-hit shutout from game number 1. She's allowed 1 hit through 4 and needs 3 more outs to finish this one off over Clark Atlanta here in game number 2. Sharnitra Woods will lead things off for the Panthers of Clark Atlanta as she'll take the first one out of the zone. Woods a strikeout her first time up as the Panthers haven't made it all the way through the batting order twice yet. Cougar Sports TV back at it again tomorrow here on this campus. Columbus State basketball, women and men, 5:30 and 7:30. Pair of top 25 teams now, with the men getting into the poll today inside the Lumpkin Center. Montevallo, the team in town, a women's team that struggled this season coming in here, but a men's team that enters tomorrow tied for first place in the PBC West Division with the Cougar men. So it should be a phenomenal men's game, and it'll be fun to watch the Lady Cougar women, who seem to make everything exciting anyway. Two balls and a strike here to Woods. Hit the air tomorrow night about 5:20 or so. Outside, but swung at and missed. Two balls and two strikes. 5:30 for game one, 7:30-ish for game two. If you're in the Columbus area, you need to be in the Lumpkin Center. Should be a big, fun crowd tomorrow night. 2-2, low. Going for the outside corner, and the count will go full. Full count offering. Called strike three on the outside corner. 9 now for Lindsay DeFee as she closes in on a double-digit day. One down. The CSU needing just two more. Shatoya Miller grounded back to DeFee in the circle to end the second. Been a fantastic day for the Lady Cougars. This will be win number 4 in a row after the sweep of Queens on the 1st of February. A sweep here, and now they'll get ready for the Cougar Classic. Coming up starting on Friday night, Belmont Abbey in town for a 6 o'clock first pitch. Outside corner called strike. 2 balls and a strike now. Virginia Choice, the designated player, standing in the on-deck circle. Half-hearted swing there by the Panthers shortstop, and the count evens up. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The 2-2 from DeFee. Pulled the string and ringer up. Double-digit strikeouts for Lindsay DeFee. 10 now for the right-hander, and there's 2 away.
With 2 outs, now batting the designated player, number 4, Virginia Choice.
That's now 23 strikeouts for Lady Cougar pitchers today out of 29 outs. Virginia Choice trying to keep the ball game alive for the Panthers here in the top of the 5th inning. The first one gets away, taken for a ball. 14 runs, 11 hits, 0 blemishes defensively so far for CSU. 0-1-7 for Clark Atlanta. Pitch hits the outside corner, a ball and a strike. DeFee with the victory is going to move to 1-1 on the season as she tries to back up Taylor Turner's one-hit shutout with one of her own. The 1-1 to Choice. Off the plate away. 2 balls and a strike. Only 1 hit in the game. It was a bunt single leading off the 4th inning from Jolene Nazary. Other than that, there was a batter hit by a pitch and no other base runners to this point as that one's called a strike. It's 2-2. Final strike time here for Clark Atlanta. Base is empty and 2 away. DeFee ready, the 2-2. Rolls across home plate and all the way to the backstop. And the count's full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. "22 runs on the day for CSU, and they've struck out 23 hitters in the circle. Pretty good combination there. Offense and defense for CSU. The full count offering. Fouled off. Choice fights it off, stays alive. Choice has only had one at bat today. It was a line out to first. Hit a line drive right at Taylor Woods. Caught it back, leading off the third inning. DeFee ready. We'll try the 3-2 again. Right back to her, through the legs of DeFee, kicks up off the second base bag and into center field. It's a base hit for Choice. Second hit of the day for Clark Atlanta, and there's a base runner on with 2 outs.
With 2 outs and a runner on first, coming up to bat, number 17, Ingrid Sims.
So Choice has a hit and 2 trips to the plate. Ingrid Sims will bat. Sims came on as a pinch hitter for Asia Nelson back in the third inning. Went down on strikes, and now she'll bat here in the fifth, trying to keep the game going. DeFee engulfed in the shadows now, out in the circle. Pitch in there for a strike, and Rees will check the runner. A ball and a strike now. Been a great day weather-wise for the Lady Cougar home opener. February 10th, and temperatures pleasant enough to hang out for a couple of softball games. That one's in there for a strike as well. 1-2. The 1-2 off the plate outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Choice on it first, the 2-2. Swing and a miss, and that will do it. Lindsay DeFee strikes out 11 in a 2-hit shutout, and CSU sweeps the doubleheader from Clark Atlanta with a 14-0 victory in game number 2. It was 8-0 in game 1, 14-0 in game 2, and the Lady Cougars are now 4-2 on the season. Lindsay DeFee 1-1 now for the year in the circle with the 2-hit shutout as she strikes out 11, doesn't give up a run here on the day. Taylor Turner had the 1-hit shutout with 13 strikeouts in game number 1. Lady Cougars pound out 11 hits. They score 14 runs with some help from the Clark Atlanta defense that commits 7 errors in game number 2. And now the Lady Cougars get set to welcome Belmont Abbey and a host of other schools to Columbus for the CSU Cougar Classic coming up on Friday night. Friday at 6 p.m. the next time the Lady Cougars will take the field. That will be right here at Cougar Field on the opening day of the CSU Cougar Classic. Florida Tech Tusculum at 12 and 2:30 Saturday at South Commons, and then they'll see Lincoln Memorial and Belmont Abbey again at 11:30 and 2. That will be on Sunday at South Commons. So a full weekend of Lady Cougar softball coming up. We're back on the air here on Cougar Sports TV tomorrow, 5:30 and 7:30 from the Lumpkin Center just across the street from us here at Cougar Field. Lady Cougar and Cougar basketball against Montevallo at 5:30 and 7:30. Cougar Sports TV will have all the sights and action for you from the Lumpkin Center. We'll take the air just prior to tip-off at 5:30 and have everything for you for the Lady Cougar and Cougar basketball doubleheader. We hit the air again here at Cougar Field Friday night just before 6 o'clock for first pitch between CSU and Belmont Abbey. That'll put a wrap on things here from Columbus, Georgia on this Tuesday afternoon. Season opener at home for the Lady Cougars in 2015. 8-0 and 14-0. They take down Clark Atlanta in a doubleheader victory. Lady Cougars 4-2 on the season, and for everybody here at Columbus State Athletics and Cougar Sports TV, this is Stephen Williams saying so long from Columbus, Georgia.